Options, interface, names, display more unit stats. Yeah. No, that's fair enough. But anyway, our next game, and if you don't know what this map is, you have been living under a rock in regards to Fortune Alliance, because this is one of the absolutely quintessential classic maps. This is Setons Clutch. That's the game. Anyway, we have Team 1 up the top right hand side here, we have Team 2 down the bottom. Let's go introduce our players. First up the front for Team number 1, it is Andrew Devok? I don't know. It's just going to be Andrew. I can't bother trying to pronounce that. Somebody could tell me, then I could, but otherwise, nah. Anyway, he is Seraphim, and he's orange, and he builds a factory and instantly gets his commander walking out towards the front. In the beach navy position for team number 1, it is Victorique. Not sure if that's supposed to be victory in an icky kind of like fancy way, or it's supposed to be Victor in a fancy way. Other way is Victorique, and he is Sovereign. He is in yellow, opening southwest lane there. In the rearguard air position for team number 1, it is Mutant Jeanpool. Now, say good day to Mutant Jeanpool. He is a kind of a known person to be. I see him around all the time. He's an Aussie, he's having a grand old time. But anyway, he's Seraphim, he is in Pale Pink. He's got his first air factory up and is currently just slipping up some trees so he can work on building the hydro that he's going to desperately need. Finally, for team number 1 in the naval rock position, it is Nick 420. Congratulations, Nick. You are the meme. Anyway, here is Cybran. He's white, and he's got his first air factory up, throwing down some pigeons, which he's going to need. It's getting a couple of inches up this way, which are busy breaking up tree clumps on their way to build a mix and maybe a hydro. Engineer going over this way to do who knows what, maybe break up some more tree clumps, because it can. Alright, just going to slow right down because we have some action potentially in the middle. And for the front slot on team number 2, it is Ozpol, and Ozpol is Aeon, Ozpol is grey, Ozpol is walking towards the front with his commander. In the naval beach position for team number 2, it is another Aeon, this time it is Maro. Maro is in Burgundy, he's got a land factory there, popping up a bunch of pigeons and then switching over to, I think that is an air factory, yes it is. And speaking of air, in the air slot for team number 2, it is Eugen. It's not Eugene, it's Eugen, because double G sound is G, as far as I'm like struggle or buggy, so it is Eugen. Anyway, he's UEF, he is in Pale, he's got his land factory up, got his hydro up, and planning a bunch of power over here, but no air factory just as of yet. And finally, for team number 2, in the naval rock position, it is Mr. Syndicalist. Not to be confused with the Syndicate, or anyway, he's just Syndicalist. Then is a Siren. He's in lime green. He has finished his land factory, putting up a bunch of pigeons, got another one planned, and then into air because they're going to want to try and drop the side islands. Anyhow, we shall move on to the mid action because those are some labs going out. The question is, will they be caught by the comm? Can they skirt the comm? So I believe they are not trying to fight, but trying to sneak past, and these two guys have, although that shot may make Andrew think, what is shooting at my commander? What has damaged it? That means there's units, that means there's something, and there could be a response of... That's actually quite interesting. So Pole is going to be very, very late to the midsection, where all the reclaimers. It's going to have a stronger eco start on account of having loitering a little bit longer to get those up. And these units up here could be a problem if they get on past. So I'm seeing Andrew has built a second land factory down here. I think that might have been ambitious before he's really got anything going. That might have caused a bit of a stall for him, but either way, he's now up front. He has an extra engine there, so he can grab some of the extra reclaim in the mid. Why not? Get as much as you can. Starting work on Salem's. I have been advised this is the wrong idea. You should actually start work on all of these, that these reclaim faster and get more mass. So you see 2 of these wrecks is just about as much as a Salem, and I think somebody said you can get like 2.5 or 3 of these wrecks in the time it takes to do a single Salem. I don't know. Either way, reclaim is reclaim. Get what you can, as much as you can. Pole is finally reaching the front. And going to see if he can maybe get some of that reclaim back. And this is what the spirit has gone all the way through, come all the way across the water, and is heading up this way. Okay. I presume there's a reason for that. One I cannot think of. And let's have a look here. We see there are some flares doing random things. The other spirit from Pole doing... And oh, I see. I don't think he's engineer hunting. I think he's tree clump killing. So some casts ago I've mentioned how tree clumps actually if you walk through the trees it'll break the clump up and you'll get less energy and no mass out of them. So by running these guys through all the trees, you see they break them down, and that means less reclaim for the air player. Alright, but we hear a bit of shooting going on here, and it is really just a bit of shooting. Pole is basically ignoring the shots coming out from Andrew, who is going to have to be a wee bit careful because Aurora's of course outrange a commander. If they had stayed further away they could have shot with impunity. As it is, they moved up, probably want to kill the engineer, which they're going to do very easily, and Andrew needs to think about not standing there because he's now taking fire from Pole's commander as well as the Aurora's, and if he thinks he can take one of those by himself. Reclaim is still on the cards, of course. Want to get as much as possible. Let's just have a quick look at the numbers, and you can see with Andrew running to the front first. Can I have the reclaim numbers, please? Thank you. He has reclaimed twice as much as Pole, just because he went there first, just because he went there early. And they're both moving up this way. Looks like going to get some more reclaim because hey, why not? Although, God, watch that health. Down into the yellow, 3/4 and 2/3 health left respectively. But Pole, of course, has the advantage with units, which he's actually not bringing in. So Pole is not looking for a kill just right this moment. Pole is actually going for eco. Look at this, got some Auroras have just gone straight on past there, knocking off some engineers there. Another couple of Auroras down here, they're killing some engineers. There was one there, and that is actually putting a damper on Andrew's time, and Andrew needs to, he's falling back. As a matter of fact, he's put some damage back on Pole. They're about the same health, but these units are going to start doing bad things to eco, and that's going to be a problem for team number 1. Got some tier 1 bombs coming out from Mutant. He is said enough's enough. Going to try and kill these little labs, which are certainly not standing still. There's micro going on with these. Is that a move order? It is. So move orders from the little flare. It's not standing still. It will eventually when it moves to that spot, but as it is, the move order is keeping it alive by the little wee dodgy bits, and of course the bomb kills trees. So it's a win-win for the flare. It stays alive and kills off some trees, dodges some bombs. I don't think it's going to dodge that one. No, it's not. But more trees dead, so more reclaim lost for Gene Pool. Over this side we see Andrew needs to not stand still under T1 arty fire. So he's got a Tham out, which is helping to support. His base has issues, including some Auroras at his hydro. That's not grand. Nothing really to stop them. There's some engineers in the region, but they're going to get absolutely mobbed, and they're going to get obliterated by these guys, and then we're going to see the hydro follow. So Andrew has issues. He has been pushed right out the mid. He did great work with the early reclaim to help his team out, but now he is in trouble and he needs help. Now there's Auroras in his base. We're going to see more engineers die. We have a Tham movement on out. The T1 bombers have come in from Mutant Gene Pool. Those will be a godsend. They can help kill off these units nice and easy. One hit is all they need and those units will die. Tham coming in to try and provide a bit of support, but the bombers are going to get the work done because here we go. Nice bomb there. 3 in 1 go. Very nice from that Silver. And now there's a single Aurora left. Won't be too long before that dies. We see here Andrew trying to rebuild his front little base, get some units out. Pole has decided to fall back with his comm wisely, and he's got plenty of unit spam coming his way. Alright, so the middle has calmed down now. These guys have faced off, the raiding units have been dissipated. Let's have a look at the Navy games, and as expected the Rock player has managed to grab the expanded island. Got a factory on there for safekeeping, all the mixers and some factories planned. And some air defense, so good times there. Has 2 naval factories in the water and a 3rd one planned. We have a look at, was that an upgrade? Nope, just idle. We have a look at his opponents, already 2 in the water and 3rd one coming. So there should be plenty of that going on. Checking out the other side of things, and yes, it looks like the rock player Nick has picked up his island as well. Got a factory on there. And how's the... Well, there's a T2 shift actually. This is an 80% completed naval factory towards T2. He does have 2 others in production for T1 units. And this looks like a drop. Question, is it going to get through with this amount of inties loitering? Does it get spotted by the air scout? And the answer is it gets spotted. The other answer is, does it get shot down? That's the other question. And I think that's going to be a solid maybe. Actually, it's more inties tuning up. I don't think it's going to make it. There we go, 3 inties up behind it, 4 inties down with the red, and there's some anti-air on the ground as well, plus patrolling units. So crashes smack into the face of the cliff and dies. Right, Maro, do we have any upgrades on the way? No, he is sitting on T1 Navy. 3 factories as pop tank units for some light assistance, so not going for that front. Pole is doing what Pole does. What the mid player should do is join into the Navy. So this is the current meta for Setons. You don't keep pushing mid. You just build up some forces just to have a deterrent, basically. And then the mid player jumps into the Navy to help whichever side needs it. And in this situation, I'm not sure. Actually, I think he's going to need to drop into the bottom pond, because despite Mara having more units in the water right now, this is a T2 factory and is a destroyer just about on the way out. Plus there's some defending torpedo launch, so even if he rushed it, that's going to be very tricky to take out. Plus, I keep saying plus because there's just more and more things, torpedo bombers from Nick. So he is jumping on in and he's making dents into the health of these guys. Ping goes out saying, torpedo bombers, yeah. But Maro, you have interceptors of your own, as you should do. So the Navy guys, generally they need to build their own T1 interceptors for this kind of thing, the early torp bombers, just to take them out. And yeah, shards rolling into frigates. Terrible idea. Shards have no anti-navy capability. Of course, Aeon very specialized, they've only got anti-air, but if they're at the front of your forces, they're not going to have a good time. There we go, now opens up on the torpedo bomber. It's going to take some time to take it down though, and doesn't have any kind of lock on fire. The inties will do a better job. The shard is just going to turn into a free kill for frigates or a destroyer. So the opportunity to try and rush that from Mara is over. He's now got a destroyer in the water that is going to cause extra havoc. Okay, the intercept over there, why don't you? Good old destroyers. Hey, do we see a T2 shift? Yes, we do. So T2 Navy is on the way for Mara. He knows he needs to get into that, get some assistance to complete that a wee bit faster. Top pond is looking kind of neutral. Do we have any upgrades? No, this is all T1 naval factories from Victorique, and we have T1 Navy up here from the syndicalist as well. So get some scouting out. He knows what he's up against. There's another factory planned here. This one might turn into T2. We don't know, but there's 3 more factories up here. I take them. So there's actually 6 versus 3 factories in the water at the moment. That's going to be a bit of a problem for Victorique if he cannot get a handle on that. Down here we are seeing a whole lot of slammers, and they are just going to do a good amount of damage to the interceptors, though most of them get away. And that destroyer is going to be quite key at the moment. Key for survival. And we see here that Pole has jumped into the east pond and is throwing down a naval factory and going straight to T2. Why bother with T1? Just go T2. What he has decided to do, and that was actually a drop here from Syndicus. So from the other pond, Syndicus has decided to join this way. The only downside is what he's fighting against is a destroyer, and yeah, anti-air plus a engineers is simply not going to cut it. Everything there is dead. Right, how's the mid? Well, as mentioned, the mid just sort of like you build some forces up, then you sit there and you focus into the navy either side, unless you're able to really push and cause some havoc. But up here we see some frigates jumping on in, maybe moving a bit close. There's some mobile missile launchers. If they sit still, they're going to take a bundle of damage. A sweet little naval force here from Nick, a couple of destroyers, a couple of frigates and a sub that is most likely the strong power, though I'm seeing a cruiser. An interesting decision. Anti-air is required, of course, being Aeon, and their cruisers are effective at that. They do have a tiny wee deck gun, basically like frigate naval firepower. Not going to do great against destroyers. Give him a chance. In fact, third destroyer now out for Nick, and he's looking in the border. That is a mermaid, so a stealth boat to make his navy harder to see. Extra problematic. Right, engineer is come up this way, probably going to do some reclaim. There we go. Moving on up, popping down. Oh no, popping down a red sonar. And they're going to move this way. I don't think they're going to live though. There's a frigate tootling on over. That is going to be a problem. Now, how's the air players? Well, both have T3. We've got some ASFs out here for Yogan. He is well onto the factory. He has his T3 Pigeon. Well under production, all well and good. Flick over to the other side and we see similar for Mutant Genpool, though he is finishing off his second air factory now. And that is another Pigeon. No, another air factory going up. So I wonder how he's supporting those. The one T3 Pigeon. Has he got Raz on his comm? No, he doesn't. How it goes in the mid. And there we go. We have the naval units here from Nick, and they're having to go at the wrong things. I think they're shooting at, well, the frigates will kill anything that comes closer. There we go. Aurora's going to get popped just like that. Pull back, just keep that range. Why take damage when you don't have to? 3 kills basically. These hover ain't all that great, and that's a T2. Yep, T2 party. That's also going to help shoot away this little naval force because they can do extra damage. Right in the top pond we see a small force of subs coming in from Victorique. If they can take out the opponent's subs, they will have free reign on the frigates. Nothing they can do to defend because hey, they're frigates, and unless they're the Aeon ones which have the torpedo defense, they're just basically sicking targets and free veterancy for everything else in the water. There we go. And these now have an opportunity to do as they please, except for the extra 3 subs that are tuning up. But these subs are not the only force belonging to Victorique. We have a swarm of frigates moving up this way, and they're going to start work on, well, the naval factory. I think they want to try and start work on the torpedo launcher. The problem is it's behind the factory, so they're going to kill that first. Factory goes down and frigates move in. There we go. Got some shooting at the launcher now. It is not going to survive long. The subs for Victorique are gone, except for this one here, and it's not going to last very much longer should this one come in from Syndicate, which it does. We're going to see a couple of salvos and it will be gone. In fact, it runs away because it wants to survive. I don't know if it's going to. Just 20 health. Don't stop running. Right, down here, what do we have? We have Navy versus Navy, and that's looking better from Mara. Got a couple of destroyers in the mix, got some frigates pushing on up. He's going to go and say good at what he's got, and of course sitting still when there's Aeon destroyers around is a terrible idea. Huge amounts of alpha damage from those very slow muzzle velocity. So Micro wins the day against the Aeon destroyers because you can just dodge the damage and have a good time. Right, checking out what has gone on up here. Well, the frigates were loitering. The frigate turned up from Syndicate, but it's just by itself. It's not going to last very long, and this factory is probably next on the kill list for him. So, top pond is looking pretty good for Victorique. But having said that, he's still rocking the T1 spam, whilst we have T2 on the way for Syndicate, and he's actually opening with a couple of subs. Well, fair enough, subs will be able to kill off frigates pretty easily without any kind of defenses, but up this way we can see Nick has parked his navy up right beside the front section and is trying to tell his teammate to push. Because he can. Right now all of this is distracted. They're distracted, it's actually shooting at the army up here. That's not a great place to... I swear that was actually inside the gas cloud, but apparently not, and it survives without taking any damage whatsoever. Right, see the damage taken. Boom, boom, boom. Do not sit still against Aeon. Oof. Damage is bad. So Nick actually pushed in, trying to help out the mid, do a bit of extra damage there and close things out, but now he's facing against... Oh, he's got Maro, who was his opponent in the water. He has torpedo bombers coming in from Yugen. Doesn't have any... Oh, he does have a cruiser. But if that cruiser is primary down, it's not going to get a lot of kills. In fact, I think it is. The torps are going straight for it. It goes down to destroyer fire, actually. I don't think the torpedo bombers actually got anything in the end. But it is dead is the main thing, and that is a problem. Torpedo bombs overhead, we have Navy from Maro, and we also have Navy coming out from Pole. So that's technically 3 versus 1 on the right pond, 2 in the Navy. And what is Andrew doing? The short answer, not much. He's working on his eco perhaps. He says there's a T3 Pigeon going up on there, and T3 Land HQ popping out some sniper bots. They wouldn't do too badly. Things at range, some T3 Naval could also do the trick. Maybe have some issues with things like this. 5 destroyers from Maro, and these shields are not going to stay up very long. Not once they start shooting at them. That is just absolute pain. Checking out the top ones, how are we doing? Well, there's a destroyer with a mermaid out for Syndicate, so he is into the T2 game, but holy mother of factory expansions, Victory spammed up so many factories right here, and he's just gonna keep it going. I'm feeling it's just a click and drag, and now off he goes. He does have a T2 factory here as well, T2 support factory, but that is a huge amount of spam ready to go. Alright, compared to the 1, 2, 3, 4 T1 factories and a single T2, we have 2 T2 factories and, I don't know, 15 T1 factories with about another 10 or so planes. That's going to be brutal. And speaking of brutal, we can see right now, Nick is being well forced back. Facing off against a much larger force than what he's got. I did forget there. T2 sub, T1 sub, and a destroyer. He's definitely got issues. Pops out some of his own torpedo bombers. They're going to have a go at killing off things down here. Might want to focus on the destroyer that's just about dead. 700 health, 1 pass from a couple of those, and then it'll be a goner. Would be the right target to go for. Instead, they are hunting one of the higher HP ones. In fact, there's now 2 destroyers that are almost dead. I mean, they're almost dead, yeah, but if they're not dead, which means they can still shoot, which means they can still do damage. There we go, kills one. And really wants to kill the other one. There we go, takes him down by the destroyer, actually not anything else. And an almost dead destroyer there as well. If they can focus that off, extra firepower, damage reduction. It's all about doing this. Okay, there we go. So we have Andrew is getting into the naval game. Might be a little late. You're going to need to rush that. Engineer's dropped out from Maro. He's going to want to grab all of the reclaim. How much is there? There's a few. There's a few destroyer wrecks. You can grab some. Not. Yeah, but oh dear. We mentioned the spam from Victory, and there it is. That is a huge swarm of frigates. Got some destroyers as backup behind them. Not bothering with any kind of mermaids for the hiding. Not hiding at all. Up here though, there was a drop from Mutant Gene Pool. Looks like he was wanting to try and take control of this island. There were a bunch of Zoes, but they have not passed muster because there is a bunch of Medusas. A couple of T3 engines up here. They're not doing much. They're now just starting on T2PD. Going to be too little too late. There is a lab in their face, and the Medusas are in range to lob their shells over. See those smoke trails coming on, and boom, down goes the T3NG. So fail drop there. Interesting idea, but just didn't get anything done. Another couple of what? That's so confusing. Maybe they can kill a lab. Guess for that shortly, right? Yeah, get a lab kill. On you, mate. Alright. So top pond is looking pretty dangerous for team number 2. We have Victoric is absolutely pushing in. Look at the number of frigates just sitting there. There's a huge amount of torpedoes pumping out of a couple of subs and some launches. There is the stealth sonar in present as well, but there's just so many frigates around to absorb all those torps. It's going to be a massive problem to deal with, and of course destroyers have their own torpedoes, which is going to cause a problem for them subs. And there we go, more torpedo bombs turn over, but there's so many frigates, they take a lot of damage lying overhead. One factory down, two factories down, going to be a third one popping any second now, and then they go free to move up over this way and kill these two factories, including the T2 HQ that Syndicate absolutely, positively does not want to lose. That was a drop. It was a drop. The drop is dead. The more units lost then. I don't know if that was just a happy little circumstance from Jürgen trying to screen for his torpedo bombers, but either way they caught transport. Transport died. Good times up on the top one though, and this is problematic for Nick. He has Navy off his doorstep, he has his HQ under threat, he has like a single, he still has his 3 torpedo launchers in residence. They're going to try and put out some damage and kill these frigates off, but the frigates are currently focusing down the build power, which is a grand idea. Make it slower for units to get out, and not looking good. Not looking good at all. There's some torpedo bombs around, but there is a cruiser which has had a grand time killing those off. Got himself 16 kills, but now facing off against, well, nothing really. Just some torpedo launchers. Now there is nothing. Wait, that's a friendly cruiser. That's not going to kill the torpedo bombs that are on the side. Why would it do that? It seems like a daft idea. A bit of actual physical body blocking from this destroyer going to keep the cruiser alive for a little bit longer, and the blaze assault tanks are going to have extra issues from those, although some shots are missing because of the way they're being a little bit dodgy bastards. Sliding left, right and forward as hover does, instantly change direction. Do get the kill on that destroyer. But oh my word, completely overrun up here. A torpedo bomber comes along, but yes, just bitch slapped out of the air by all these frigates. There's so many. The AA is really strong. Now the island is under threat, so this is a very yellow looking waters. This is completely under control of Victoric. He could now actually stop the T1 spam. He does not need that many factories. He does not need them spamming up. He now has opportunity to switch into T3. Get a bit more eco up. In fact, he's got plenty of eco. He's working on quantum gateway, probably SACUs. He has an SMD as well, so he's looking very solid defensively at this time, and offensively is just ridiculous. So many units. But yeah, unfortunately, I say unfortunately for team 2, but very fortunately for team number 1, he's the wrong faction for the long range cruisers. So they're not going to have to worry about any tech missiles coming in, because it's all Cybran, it's all direct fire. But as much as Victoric has won the top ponds, we are looking at a very similar situation, though not completed yet, in the right hand bottom pond. Navy is all over the place. The HQ has misprimaried, and once all these move into range, we are going to see a lot of damage just come off onto that, and the health is going to absolutely disappear. We are, the frigates are rushing on in. They're going to kill off the build power. They're going to kill off anything they come across. They're going to even kill off the torpedo launchers. But whatever happens, it is a dead factory. It is a dead Navy in the bottom pond. So repaying the favour of the top one being empty is the bottom one also being empty. So still kind of even. as far as the game goes. Income wise, we're having a look very similar there as well. Total mass 674 5k to 683, so slightly advantage to team 2. They are doing just a little bit better, a little bit faster, sorry, a little bit more eco. Only gradual. I think they have been behind, although maybe they've caught up, although maybe they've just lost some eco, because that was 1.1k a second ago, but now it's just 1. Okay. In addition to the Navy in the pond, there's actually hover as well. So once these guys have finished killing off all the Navy, all this hover can wander up onto the land and continue doing what they're doing, trying to get re-established in the Navy. Got some factories up here, they're pumping out engineers, going to go for some extra bow power, rock up the factories, maybe they can get some units out, but the answer really is nah. Not going to happen. It is just simply too much in the water right now. The frigates are going to swarm, the hovers are going to go say g'day, and they're going to be out of the Navy. So there we go, pond 1 for team 1, top pond for team 1, bottom pond for team 2. Having said that, Setons are getting smashed into oblivion by a single broadsword. It can take a very long time to kill that thing, and it out DPSs the entire bunch. And of course it kills the Setons faster, they can kill it. And now a second broadsword turns up. That will be enough to kill all of these. Maybe wants to focus on that one first, being that it's closest to the poor commander underwater over there. Uh-oh, oh, still moving. Base is under absolute threat. Broadswords, just doing broadswords things, ignoring tanking damage. Smashing out DB. What was that? Oh, like an arty shell? Was it T? There is. T2 out of there, having a launch over. So the Seton might make it into the water. Huzzah! Nope. Doesn't. Let's go on. Right hand on. Looking the same. There's some hover trying to do hovery things, but honestly that's a bad idea. Not going to get very far with those. The island is under threat. We have some destroyers a little bit further off, shooting at range, logging there. We've got that nice arcing fire compared to the slightly more direct frigates. So all these units are going to die. The destroyers are going to have a grand old time cleaning up the eco, and then the island can be taken over, just like this one has done over this side. We see Victoric is quite happily entrenched there. He's building T3 mass, so rather than building T2 and upgrading, he's decided he is going to be able to hold that spot, and has gone straight for the T3 tech. Not even ringing it. I would. I absolutely would. Alright. So much in the water. And there we go, some hover and a naval factory has been popped into the water by Pole, so he was thinking maybe I can get back over this way. Maybe I can get some things done, but while the blazes are effective at taking down frigates, there's just too many. Just far too many. And also, that factory looks to be in range of the T2 RT. There it is. So T2 RT is going to lob its shells over as well, and that's going to be a terrible time for anything sitting here like a naval factory. Then comes the shell. Meh. That factory is a goner, and Pole is out of the top pond once again. Bottom pond is definitely held though. No if buts or maybes, this is 100% belong to team 2, just as this pond is 100% belong to team 1, but it's my eyes deceive me. That is a pair of, yep, nuke subs. Victoric has popped out nuke subs, so he has got T3 and he's got nuke subs ready to start building some close range nukes. But looking at the other side, the same thing has happened. Those hover units did come on up as we thought they might, and they have just been killing off whatever they can get their hands on. Well, yep, there we go, some factories back up here for Nick, so he's trying to stay relevant, trying to keep some kind of ground power going on. But the gunship over here is going to get knocked out of the sky by, I saw the cruiser fire, there it is. Completely blind, but Infinity Cruiser there, just lobbing us AA, killing those off Right, more hover has made it into the main base of Andrew. His command is there, but I'm not seeing overcharge. Does he not have storage? Take that back, I literally just saw an overcharge now. They're trying to take down some T3 mobile arty. But Balaji, not a bad choice for taking out some T2 Navy. They have a decent rate of fire, and what exploded? That was a support commander. There we go. So broadswords turned up here from Yugen, decided that no, you don't actually get to keep this island, and they've killed off the support commander and are probably killing the eco and factory, so they can't just do that. But a massive air wing comes in from Mutant Gene Pool. There's now an air fight over the island, and some decent turning. Well, I thought they were fairly decent turning, but there we go. That is still looking pretty even, and some Navy turns up from Victorique, but of course this is all frigates and destroyers, so extra reinforcing ACFs coming from Yugen, and that is caught up right behind Mutant's air, and it is absolutely wiped. Well, that's going to be a dead, there we go, that's a dead support commander. Ah, boom, and double kaboom there. Third cruisers in the mix for Victorique, and that is an air win for Yugen, so he's now strong in the air. He can hold all of that and can do things like this. So maybe not with the amount of AA there is sitting there. I can hear the nuke subs launching their long range attack missiles. Those have possibly the longest range. Maybe Torrents go more? Not entirely certain. And how did they get in? Vesper's in the water from Pole. They're leftovers from when that factory actually existed. That's a very good question, but if they run into anything too much, they're not going to last very long. But Andrew caught up here. What got him? I'm going to guess it was Navy, or maybe there was some ground forces, a little bit more hover. He was trying to build some point defense. I'm going to guess it was some hover units loitering around. But then maybe some destroyers lobbing some shells as well. Either way, that is actually Andrew out of the game. So the first person to bow out at the 31 minutes section, and a goodbye Andrew. But it is Setons, so it is full share, and Mutant grabs everything. Some T3 RD right on the coast. That's a poor position for it. I mean, they'll do well with killing stuff, but they're also going to do well at getting killed because they're in range. And that's an aircraft carrier. Oh dear. Big fat tasty aircraft carrier. This is a great target for a T2RD. Excuse me, sorry. Very hard to maneuver, very easy to hit, not a lot of health. But they have been noticed, they're trying to fall back, maybe they can survive instead of getting decimated by destroyers. But Navy is now having to go at the front as well. There were some snipers, or a sniper bot out at least, but the T2 PD is having a grand old time shooting the ground because nobody likes the ground. If anything comes too close, it's going to meet T1 RD spam out of the factories, going to meet a sniper bot, and they're going to start taking damage. There are some blazes. And I think we can have an awful time against the point defense, and maybe, just maybe, they can hold that a little bit longer. More aircraft carriers running in, and that's Torrent. So never mind all of this. That's Torrent. That's going to cause some massive issues. And speaking of issues, well, it's all going on over here. So T2RD in the mix here, just going to lob their shells over and knock out as much as possible. There we go. Destroyer goes down. That is exactly what they want to do, and the ground forces are an issue. Over this side, there are a bunch of authors coming on over from Mutant Gene Pool. They want to try and rein this in a bit, but they're not going to get a lot done because ASF from Yugen have turned up and are going to clean up these skies. Ah dear. Maro has said, well, Navy's only going to get me so far, I need ground forces. And that's exactly what he's done. There are no ground forces coming through. Of course, there is T2 Wagoners here from Nick, and they're going to just roll on through, and they can clean up all of this most likely as long as they don't get too close to Navy. T2 Navy will wreck them, and if they're too close to the edge, T1 Navy will wreck them. Maybe they can knock out these land factories, we don't know, but there's more engineers in the area anyway. I see them here. Yeah, Buddhism anti-air. That way to pop the factories up again and more engineers up this way. So Nick is in with a bad time right now. Navy denying everything there, and ground forces working up this way. Awful times for him. Comparatively, while Victorique has taken control of the top pond, he hasn't moved onto the land. It is all just T1 spam, and that's a nuke from Mutant. So Mutant has a nuke up, and the question is, where's it going? Is the nuke defense available? Well, if we have a look at Pole, we have, oh, an SMD's been started, so I'm guessing that's not gonna, oh, and he's very close to finishing a GC. That is 78% done. As a experimental Victorique. We have to keep an eye on this nuke though, that is the main thing. Going to see, is it going for Pole, or is it going to go for the air grid? It's going to go right back here for Yugen. Questions we need answers to. Go. Carries on past, so Pole is safe. Pole, who is currently making the GC, and I strongly suspect we're about to see the demise of this air grid from Yugen, maybe even himself if he's not moving too far away. That nuke is looking pretty close, and I think we're going to see Yugen bow out to it. Nuke to the base, and the whole air grid and eco as well. Kaboom! Oh dear. Oh, very much dear. 35 minutes and no SMD for Yugen. He is down and out, and there was so much eco lost in that as well. Not the mixes so much, but the power. There were at least half a dozen that I managed to quickly count before the nuke landed of T3 PGNs, and that is a brutality. Absolute brutality. Absolute problem. But despite losing the air player, they're still very strong in the Navy down here. And the air wing is up here, so it still remains alive. And what have we two done there? That is a teleporter for Nick. So is that Nick deciding he's had enough? He has managed to shoot these units off here with all these Wagners. They have done their job. They have cleaned up the land. But up here we see this happening again. In fact, there's a support commander that's been dropped. It is probably popping down some T2 PD. That is going to make it very difficult to shift. Right then, what's going on down here? Monkey. So that must have been the experimental that Victorique finished. It was a monkey. There's not much left of it. I wonder if it got hit by torpedo bombers, or if it wandered into range of T2 Hardy like that. There we go, the shells are landing, taking a bundle of damage. Doesn't need much more to kill it, just maybe another volley or two. Although in comes some Corsairs, and that will be the end of the monkey. And that's a lot of torps onto the support commanders. Survives one pass, barely. And if any of these torp bombs actually live through this fierce amount of frigate fire, could kill him, but is that enough? I think maybe one torp got off. And they're working on a crab. Underwater crab, that's going to be a problem. Really need to try and sort that out. There are now 5 nuke subs. 5 nuke subs, all lobbing their very long range attack missiles, all building nukes, I would imagine as well. We have one loaded there with a nuke ready to go. Great, and the top pond, but exactly the same for the bottom pond. Not looking great here by any stretch of imagination. Wagners are being annoying. They're sitting underwater with their, well, admittedly very weak torpedoes, and to top it all off, they're firing at Aeon frigates which have torpedo defense, so it's going to take even longer to get through. And in the meantime, they can torpedo back from the destroyers, and they're going to have a bad time. Alright, more hover. Lasers are charging on up, and Mutant Genpool has a experimental unit. Not the one I was expecting. Well, being the airplay, you might expect that he would actually have built an Awasa, but he doesn't have air control right now. Air control, let's count the numbers. Syndicate has 125 ASFs, Mutant Genpool has 90, so he's been rebuilding after the ELS over there, and with the But the destruction of the air grid down here absolutely helped. There was a slowdown in production there. It means he has had a chance to catch up. And catching up he still is. He has production on the way and more coming. Oh, has finished an experimental. Was that the GC? That took a very long time to finish. Obviously his focus is elsewhere, probably on the Tempest. Wow. Or was he focusing on the SMD? Maybe. We never know. By the way, he has a GC now. It's ready to stomp on its way. And he is working very slowly on a Tempest. Just a single T3 engineer trying to build that. It's going to take a very long time. T3 engineer building Tempest. Let's see what the time on that is. 16 minutes to build a Tempest with a single T3 engineer. This is presuming no mass stall, no power stall. A very long time. It's about half done, so we've got another, what, 8 minutes left? Presuming, again, no stalling. What is that? Oh, hello! That is where Nick has teleported to. Saw the pinks, he can now kill stuff off. Murders all of that there. Kill the Novaks, get rid of that. Is he teleporting out somewhere? I think he is. Yes, he is. He's trying to teleport away. The question is he going to make it, because there's T2 PD going down, and hello Corsairs, he's not getting out of that. He is a dead man, but still, that's the more air grid down. This Novax was being built, which isn't happening anymore, and he is going to go pop.
Strategic launch detected.
And we have another nuke out, who is this time, that's from one of the nuke subs. Here we go, where is that going to head to? Big question. It is moving over this way. There is an SMD. It's not loaded though, so that's a problem. The SMD is not loaded. Oh, this going that far. It's actually landing here, which I can see why. So much build. Wowzer. So many TTYD dead. Also knocks off a couple of SACUs. Kills a bunch of the hives, which actually will pass so many shields, and that has just made a massive, incredibly huge dent in the defensive products there. SACU is quite happy there, popping up some TMD. Not what he really needs to worry about, because he's battleships. And speaking of battleships, one of them dies to broadswords, although I suspect it had taken damage from the TTYD that was loitering around here beforehand. Here, oh dear. Okay, we see the Yathosa is made its way all the way down here. It has been gifted over a couple of times. Was built by Mutant General, but got given over to Nick, and it's now been given to Victorique. It is sitting down here ready to clear out these spaces. Probably wants to walk a little bit closer and start killing things for proper. Definitely doesn't want to stand still while there's torrent fire coming in. Those missiles will cause immeasurable amounts of damage. There's just so many of them, and also some destroyers and a battleship as well. A couple of battleships actually. Your photo will not last long. Here's strats. Ras coming in from Mutant General, and they are going for the SMD. I think it's the only target they can see, but they don't get through the shield's hold. Although I think they're about to get another pass, and that second pass should do it. Not much left. The shields, the ASFs have been scrambled from Syndicate, but they're not gonna make it. 1, 2, 3 shields down, another couple of bombs, and that'll be the end of this SMD. There it goes. Now there's nothing. Oh look, another wave of bombs coming in, and the ASFs come in from Victorique. So he's been jumping in the air production as well, and that is going to be problematic. Oh, that is gone, says Ozpol, and yes indeed, that is gone. We are now going to see that get nuked. I hear an Awassa. Why do I hear an Awassa? Because there's no Awassa all the way up here. And it looked like the Mutant General built an Awassa, some scouts landed, and the Awassa took exception to that. Auto tried to bomb them. They're using nuke lands down on the front. That is Ozpol's base, looking awfully destroyed. And yet, despite all of this, and all of this, and all of this, Team 2 appear to have the better eco. They are ahead by 2.1 million in total mass income. They are sitting at 1.3 compared to the 940. Right, little spike there, 920. So Team 2 are ahead in eco, and that is most likely owing to on there and owning all this as well. SACU over here getting bombed the snot out of. That's going to go pop, and there really needs to be something done to try and stem all of this. The Awasa is not a bad shout. Get it over here, get a single bomb off and kill a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 factories with one bypass there. That is incredible amounts, and there is pushback of the T2 nature. It's a problem. Stress coming on out. They're going for this SACU this time. Yes, they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See you later. Awasa drops his bomb as well, just for fun. And it's going to be the end of that one factory left. So using bombers to do some point defense is needed. Another nuke out to here to get rid of eco at that point. Can't nuke the base. I know. The thing is, you say huge navy, but it's all frigates and battleships, and they can't walk over it. Oh, there's a few Setons. Few Setons there. GC's actually on its way. Stomping over through the water. It's going to walk up here, and that's going to be a big issue to try and take care of. Nuke the factories, because why not? Honestly, you could throw some nukes in here too. Killing off a bunch of turrets, battleships, aircraft carriers. That'd be a good little thing, but the question is how many nukes do they have? And it was actually Mutant with his proper nuke. He could have sent it over here to kill off the Seeker, although I suppose he doesn't know. Could take the carriers? Yeah, sure, just close enough. Well, maybe not. Thought they might have. But either way, this navy remains. And that is a massive air fight. The Awasa survives barely. Look at that, 2,500 health. The air wing was dispatched and the Awasa's there. But hello, can we say good day to a Rambo SACU? I thought that was actually his comm for a moment, but it's just another support. Look at all the destruction here. What the heck happened? I totally missed it. It could have been a push. But that's a lot of dead iron reactors. And speaking of things that will push, how about a GC? Being supported by blazes, these units are in for a terrible time, and that GC is ready to wander on up and cause absolute havoc. What happened to the Awasa? They park it up? Did they? Notice over here, looking like it's going to go for another singular bombing run as well. So one of it, stress popping up this way. What are they going for? SMDs. Oh dear. If they aim those correctly, they could split the SMDs and kill them both at the same time, but the left those strats. And that's a crab though. Oh dear. Crab up on the coast. And similar to how the GC's over here, there's a crab. GC is having a grand old time just scooping units there. And another strat comes out. Not going to make it though. The shields have blinked back on with plenty of help. Bombs everywhere. We're going to go straight onto the GC, a grand idea. Definitely need to slow that thing down before it gets too close. There has been an arse washer completed. That could be used as a close range defense, and GC is slowly killing things off. It really must have walked forward a little bit more, but it's now getting strapped on the hell out of. I don't know how much further it is going to make it. Over here, Crab is up and killing things, and Syndicate kinda doesn't want to be there. Really doesn't want to be there for the Crab in attendance. Stress continues the work on the GC, down half health. It's got a rank Confederacy. It has no response to that. Plenty of flak surrounding it, but flak takes a while to kill off T3 strats, and takes even longer to kill an Awasa. And the GC says, nah, I've had enough. I am moving on back. Another couple of monkeys are finished up here from Victoric. They're going to be a problem, and ooh. Okay, so he was standing out of the water. Don't know if we got spotted or not, but as you've got to keep an eye on that because he has laser. He might decide to go defensive and try and shoot. Kill that eye. Yep, here the Awasa. Also over here killing things off. Now there's plenty of units on the ground. Bombers may not be the best idea because it's mostly anti-air. See how that pans out. There are some point defense which are ready to kill that, but right here, there we go. Syndicate has come back out of the water and now lasers onto that crab. Does he? It's strange, doesn't it? Now he lasers onto the crab and he's getting shot by battleships. Oh dear. Battleships shooting down. He's actually going to kill the crab, but or is he? Oh dear, mutual KO there. That is Syndicate. If it wasn't for the battleships, I have a feeling he would have survived, but he does kill the crab. I think it might have been mutual between him and the crab. Either way, they're both dead. And now everything is going to hand over to Maro, who's doing massive factory spam. And look at all this. Good to deal with. The Awasa has been having fun up here, but it is anti-air, so maybe not the best thing to go for. The Colossus in the water is taking it easy. Okay. It is very much a game of hide and seek now. There's so many units, although having a look at Maro, he is trying his best to do ground spam. He's trying his best to try and push up and just cause issues. What has he got back here? D, which is now protecting this lot. He's got plenty of build power. He has the eco. He could decide to build something like a T3 RD. That's not a combat in SACU. SMD there. Whose nuke was that? Well, it belongs to Mutant, and what's it going for is the question. That trajectory, I think, is going for this here. I don't know if that's really going to work. Oh, Oz has completed an experimental. Tempest. That Tempest is done. That Tempest we mentioned years ago, which is like 15 minutes ago, is finally done. The nuke is going to come down here for all this production. It's only a delaying tactic, really. Kills a lot of stuff, of course, but there's still many factories, many engineers, and they have just more factories lined up. It's not going to do a huge amount of things, but oh my word, Tempest. Get this into the fight. I guess, and I don't know what's going to do, is nothing really in range. We could maybe sit over this side and bombard things over there, who knows. But that's a monkey moving out to the front. There's another 2 monkeys over there. In fact, that monkey's out of the water. Go shallow. A lot of things go out of the water there. Another nuke. And another nuke. Ah, it's coming from here. Coming from nuke subs. Couldn't quite see them because yellow on yellow. And where are these going for? Well, they're going up to the back, but this is loaded, so one of those nukes is not going to connect, but the other one should. Boss is still having fun over here. It is point blank defense on these things. The first nuke does get shot down as predicted, but the second one is going to get through. And a land, and that's going to be maybe not as bad as we think it would be. Couple of mixes down, some build power doomed, but Scathus. So Maro is using some of that echo. He has decided I need to do something to change this game around, and he's building a Scathus because that would be quite useful. I'm just surprised he didn't build it down to this corner where they have better control, where they aren't getting threatened from the Navy, where the nukes out of the water couldn't stop it. So many strats just constantly, though they are being defensive because there's so many units. Another nuke out, there we go. That's from a nuke sub down there, another one from Victoric. And is this now heading down here to finish off this section? Yes it is. There was a T3 HQ, 4 T3 mass extractors, 3 pigeons and an unloaded S&D because it's already been used. We're going to see the doom of that little section. Round, that will be good. Kablooey. Matchy. Right, Awasa is bombing anti-air. This is a terrible, oh my god, look at the health just drop of that thing from T1. Yeah, there's just so much T1 anti-air there, it is getting brutalized. Although it's probably flying a bit close to some anti. That could use a nuke. For funds. I mean, the torrents are doing some annoying things. Their range is quite incredible. They're busy killing off a bunch of ASFs, which is a strange... Well, whatever's in range is in range, I guess. You might as well. But over here, we are seeing SACUs popping because they're walking just a wee bit too close to the coast. Battleships are going, yeah, we'll take the free targets. We'll take the free kills. And we'll see you later. 1, 2, 3, 4 monkeys in the water now. What happened to the other one? Walking over this way, wasn't it? Lost it. There we go, 2 monkeys there. Well, there's one up on the coast and one in the water. We have more stress going in for something. Is that the single SMD under a T2 shield? Where is the rest of your shielding? Oh no. That had like 5 missiles loaded in it. Under a single T2 shield gen. That just feels criminal, and I think it deserved to die for that. It deserved to die. Right then, let's play hide and seek. We have, that is Oswald actually, a single thing standing all the way out in the water in the middle of nowhere. That's usually a commander. Goes the also, what's going to collect? It's going to collect all this stuff. Or it goes down, and holy moly of all kind of T1 anti-air spam. Look at it all. You're going to have to change your tactic. It's getting absolutely brutalized by all of that. Nuke lands and takes out approximately nothing because the Awaz has already killed it all. But now the Awaz is going to fly over some anti-air and it's going to die of its own accord. Scouts are out and I believe they have probably spotted this. So another nuke, where's it headed? Is it actually headed over here? Can't tell, we'll have to try and keep an eye on it. Going for something, it's going for the Navy. There we go, why not? Chicken. An excellent response to T1 spam. Prime one arm, AoE attacks with the other. Very good at killing things off. That's the nuke land. Navy dead. Oh. Still plenty there, but that's still a massive chunk dead there. The Tempest has turned up on the edge here, is lobbing its shells over to the other side. There's a Rambo. Oh, Rambo. SACU. Chunking its way through the water. Now, I do have to wonder, was that spotted? There has been a fire, but we only see that many. There's much more sitting there now that Scathus is going up kind of slowly. So I'm guessing Maro, his eco has dropped a lot. Question is, what is he building? And where's his comm? No Oz holds comms there. That must be him under the, yes it is. Under all the AA, there is Maro's comm. Nothing says my commander's here, like a line of anti-air. Anyhow, speaking of commanders otherwise, we have, well, here we go, Mutant Genepool is sitting in his base with his comm. And right beside some stats, but I think he'll be okay. He is getting pushed though, and there's some scary obsidians heading towards his comm. They could do some damage if they can get close enough. There's plenty of anti-air, but there's a GC about to though. First, once that is done, then I can imagine these will turn up here and take care of that. Although, speaking of, a GC has been finished right here, just in the nick of time to turn up and kill some more obsidians. So going to be absolutely fine. And they're going to be good. In the water is that. That is Victorique. In the water with his comm near his base. So he is most likely safe-ish there. And it is hide and seek. And finally, Team 1 have more income than Team 2, but they're so far behind in total eco. So far behind in, hello mother of monkeys, here they come. 5 monkeys on the crawl. Murdering everything, another single monkey over here, and one in the water catching up. So 5, 6, 7 monkeys going for a wander, and there's not going to be anything left on the ground once these monkeys are done. Just calling it a nuke out from nuke sub belonging to Mr. Pole. What is that going for? Oh dear, Mutant did not learn his lesson about nukes. He has an SMD but it's not loaded. And that is actually going for his base. Is he going to be able to move away? Is he going to be stopped by the engineers? Keep stopping moving. Oh, this is going to be close. I think he's going to be okay. Takes damage. But his base is shredded. Why no SMD? He's been nuking stuff. It is 15 minutes into the game, no SMD for him, and that's a massive loss of basically everything out of there. But down here, these monkeys are going to encounter the Scathus, the half-built Scathus. Do they even know it's there? Well, they will in a second. Hello, Scathus. Monkeys say goodbye, Scathus. SACU's gonna die, SMD gonna die, Scathus gonna die, and that is horribly unfortunate. They could have built it underwater too. They could have started building the Scathus down here. I wonder if we can get up into that beach. What if we build a Scathus here and you could wander it up onto the beach here and start lobbing shells at everything? That would be really, really interesting. But the nuke lands up in Victorique's base and he loses a whole bunch of stuff as well. Nukes everywhere, SACUs popping down everywhere, monkeys going for a grand old jaunt, and I'm going to say right now it is looking pretty good for Team 1. The monkeys are going to clean up all sorts of things. And looks like this attack up here has kind of petered out. Despite Mutant losing basically all of his base up that front, he's still got a large amount of income from that. And he does have a Yothosa in the end. That is a lot of T1 AA plans. It's just been like a drag all the way up to here. Massive drag of AA. Things have kind of gotten quieter. It's a bug. So Victoric is very firmly entrenched in this pond, and he's losing units from the very long range Torrents, the long range Tempest. I don't think he's really going to care that much. He's basically losing frigates. Who cares about frigates? Not that guy. Now, Mutant Gene Pool is saying exactly what was mentioned before by Mr. Ortiz, it is hide and seek. Very much hide and seek, because that's... No, that's just... I am going to bump the speeds up a bit because it's now a lot less action. The action is slower. Still lots of income. It's particularly for T number 1, so that is mostly Victory with his pretty decently established base. So having said that, hello to T1 Ardy. T1 Ardy turning up in the base is never good for your never mind, monkey. Gonna take care of all that. And of course the gunships as well. T3 whalers having a grand old time. Now we see the Yothosa has the midsection is going to start killing those stuff off. This Yothosa down here, 210 kills, all T1, so not much in the way of venerency, but good at slowing things down. There was a shield back there. Definitely trying to rebuild that front. Looks like the sub is trying to rebuild his nuke. Going to take a while at this rate because his eco isn't the best. But speaking of eco not being the best, these monkeys have just wiped everything off the face of the land, and might catch this SSU, it might get off into the water, which will keep a little bit of eco alive for Pole, but really it is a case of hide and seek. We have Pole in the water down here, trying to build a GC. We have Maro's com is actually moving up this way. Not a bad idea. A little bit closer to units. What have we got? Got a bug. Bugs haven't saying hello, but there's some aircraft carriers there. They have decent AA, taking some good chunks of health off of that thing. Right, there are strats, and what are they trying to strat? Well, they're going for the SMD and for the P-Gents. It's a single Berber having a grand old time. He's going to kill that. And if he kills this as well, he's going to kill himself, but probably kill this. Never mind. The strat bomber got it. Killed the Ferber in the process. A little hero. Absolute little hero. Dead is dead. And that is how it's gone. Monkey meets monkey, and that is stomping its way off the land, so there's all sorts of stuff going on. Still, even this late into the game, look at all the torrent fire hitting the ground, and it's going to be killing whatever it tries to build because it's in range. Berbers on the way over, they're having a great time as well. The aircraft carriers were spotted by Yothosa. Does not do well for your health to be too close to one of those, but again, too close to things. Speaking of battleships, and oof, shot in the back by the Tempest. That's going to be very dead very shortly, Yothosa. There we go. Shots, shots, shots. Ooh, dodges the Tempest fire, but can't dodge that giant volley from 3 battleships. Dead Yothosa. Monkey's still walking around. I imagine they're just going to patrol in the case of anything else. Next step for these guys. There's a assist blob there around a single frigate. Battleships over here, I'm not sure what they're trying to do aside from get gradually killed off by being too close to attack missiles and the Tempest. Look at that thing, 12 kills but 3 ranks of veterancy. Very, very tough. Right, Yothosa is just staying in place to kill off T1 as it rolls on in. We have another swarm coming this way. Oh dear. Did rebuild an SMD because he's going to need it, trying to get his power back because he's going to need it. After that he could look at getting his eco back because hey, he's going to need it at this rate. Going on. Donut. Not a bad call. I say that, I don't know how much air he's got. Really don't. Okay, they just flown over Mutant Gene Pool so they know he is. Should know, so they just flew over him, so they saw that. Plenty of whalers though. Cool. In come some restorers. Restorers actually pretty decent with the anti-air. They will win against whalers. At all.
Strategic launch detected.
It's a nuke, and what's it going for? Where's it going for? Ah, it's going over here for the Navy, so they think... Well, they saw Victorique, and he has moved his comm just in time. If he'd stayed where he was, I believe he would have died. I think it was about standing around there, but he's gone right out of the way and has departed the area, fortunately for him. Bug down here still doing more work, killing off more eco. Exactly what Pole doesn't need. More eco dead, and the bug is just having a grand old time getting extra kills. Right, air is still prevalent up here. We have S&D is now loaded, so Gene Pool could wander back on over and be considered safe-ish. Other Yothota to help defend against things like that. Monkeys on the coast wander a bit too close to battleships and they get obliterated. Look at that, just see you later. Battleships are strong little bastards. How many nukes are these things built? Well, they haven't been rebuilding nukes. They are there, but I don't see a single one with any. So no nukes available from the subs. And really, looking mostly in Team 1's favour as far as eco goes. Still behind, so I imagine these guys are actually surviving off the reclaim. There's most likely plenty to be had. And Mara actually control Ks. So he's decided to have enough. He's not actually carrying on. There's just so much reclaim to be had, honestly. Would have kept on going. Look at the monkey just shred health there. By 1, 2, 3, 4 battleships. A little bit too close. It's never getting close enough to train its laser on. Yes, turned into scrap. What is the move? What is the move from Pole? He is now 1 versus 2. He's way down on the eco, but he has plenty of reclaim to be had. Let's have a look on the map. 793,000 reclaim. So much. We're almost breaking the 800k barrier. Perhaps if one of these battleships dies, we could see 800k. But that's just a general idea of how much mass these guys have put into building units. Look at that. Total income 2.9, 3.2 million. We've had over 6 million mass income over this entire game. That's just a ridiculous amount. Absolutely ridiculous amount of mass. Right, units down here goes. That torrent dies. Maybe we'll see our total pip over 800,000. I just want to see it just for funsies. The Yothota's walking around as well. 3,000. Oh, if that Tempest goes, that would be a definite tick over the 800,000 mark. Strats are out as well. This is incredible. Let's see, Victorique is still in the water way out over here. If he gets scouted, he might get torpedo bombed. Those are Solace torpedo bombers. If he gets found and this air wing is out of position, he's going to be a dead man. Oh, we're so close to the 800k mark. Can we do it? Oh dear, the Solace are going in. The air wing is distracted by some gunships, and hello, is that a discovery? Are they going to get him? The air wing comes flying back. Is it going to be too late? This is victory. That's too many torps in the water. He's a dead man. Got spotted. Got killed. We have breached the 800k reclaim mark for the entire map. Boy oh boy. Paul asks if he can have the game given to him just because of that snipe, and it was a good little snipe considering everything that's going on, considering how much air there is, considering the narrow path they had a chance to get through. But right now the game, looking at it, 10 times the income. And well, that's the photo. That's yellow. That's yellow. So Gene Pool with his income has decided, fuck it, I'm building yellow. It's gonna go up pretty quickly with that amount. And he's under shields, he's looking pretty safe. Bunch of shields, bunch of SMD. I think he would be safe. Telesnipe is not on the cards because it's Aeon anyway. Pretty much, he controls the spawn, the units he's got is all he's got, and I'm fairly certain that is the game. Gonna speed it up a little bit further. It really is just a hide and seek now for mutant if you can find him. But down in the water is Pole, trying to build another GC. It's actually going up. And taking his time, he's only got a 70 income. That must be all he's producing, although he is getting spam out of these factories as well. Yes, he's still trying with those, and they're carrying on, but they're going to run into a Thota, who's just going to have those all day, every day for breakfast. But there we have it. Setons is winding on down. It has been a hell of a map, this one. So much going on. Top pond won by Team 1 in the first instance, the bottom pond won by Team 2, pressure on both ways, land getting absolutely destroyed, so many close shaves, a number of times. Mutant Gene Pool only just got away from a nuke in his base. He took damage on his common. If he was a little bit closer, it could have been awful, but that was that one step that kept him alive from there. Nick almost teleported back out from his tally in there, but of course he's turned up, and that was all she wrote as far as he was concerned. But now it's a case of, can they find mutants? More scouts going out. What can they do? Got some more torpedo bombers in there loitering around, but they're not going to get much done because mutant is not in the water. It's in the air. Yellow is completed, and it is loading, and we're going to see nukes ahoy. We're going to see nukes ahoy. Oh no, is there? Well, no, he hasn't scouted there for quite some time. Can't quite get in range with the scouts he's got. It's there we go. That's a yellow, and we are going to see nuke after nuke after nuke. Especially at 5 times speed, it's going to load really quickly, and it's just going to clean up all of this gradually. Although there was a nuke left over in that sub. It's gone for where? Oh, it's gone to the left, because why not? I was to kill some stuff off there. Not going to get much else done, but yellow says boom. The Pole says, okay, you win. Well, yeah, he's going to win. He's got a yellow. You have no SMD anywhere. You have no eco. And Pole control K's out of the game and concedes.